say about tonight's game. We attempted to play basketball. This is me explaining the title of the stream. Okay, listen, man, it's already pretty tough. I'll probably go into it later, but Suns attempted a game of basketball. It's really all you could have asked for them today. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I think everything's fine. Yes, yes, we chill. ESPN still doesn't want to obey my command. Okay, we're good. We're good. ESPN's finally listening. Awesome. What up, Suns fans? Suns go back into the losing category as they lose their game against the Denver Nuggets. Final score Denver Nuggets 122 to the Phoenix Suns' 105. Suns now tie up their record once again 26-26 on the season. And there's not that much to talk about this game, but we'll still talk about it. And I'll see you in just a quick second.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move for Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
I kind of realized that Yusuf Nurkic is still in that little opening. It's a bit awkward now, isn't it? Okay, so the Suns attempted a game of basketball tonight. I'm not that mad. This is different from your typical Suns loss, and it was kind of the same against last game against Utah. Although Utah is the tanking team, that one the Suns should have definitely won. We definitely still had the better players on that one, and I'm happy we were able to win that one. But this one is a very different loss, I'd say, because it was already gone before it even started. Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal were listed as out for tonight's game. So there goes some of your best shooters on this team. And what's worse is that Grayson Allen, MVP Grayson Allen, Ray Allen of the Phoenix Suns, was injured. He had, I believe, leg soreness was the reason that he was out. So he also didn't play this game. Well, there's another problem. So it was kind of already on the wall that the Suns were going to lose this game. Denver Nuggets won their last 5 games. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Current 4th seed in the West. Actually, the current 3rd seed in the West now. After this game, I believe. So it was already going to be a tough uphill match. I mean, the one little saving grace we had beforehand is that they had Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Michael Porter Jr. listed as questionable for tonight's game. So that may have swung the pendulum to our favor, but then Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray was listed as available for tonight. Michael Porter Jr. did miss tonight's game. Either way, Suns were screwed from the start. So I didn't come into this night expecting a miracle win. I mean, it would have been nice if they got a miracle win, but I'm not going to hold it up against them because what else are you supposed to do? When you're just missing like half your team, what's there to be mad at? Of course, you're going to have no answer for uh, uh, three-time MVP. Why am I forgetting his name? Jokic. So it's main things like that, and then Jamal Murray. Like the Nuggets had their top 2 guys, the Suns had Booker, and Booker still managed to have an okay night. He dropped 24 points tonight, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Trying to do the most he can, really. But it's really hard for him to be scoring a lot tonight in tonight's game, as they were sending doubles his way a lot, like a lot of frequently. So that kind of forced Booker to pass the ball out of his hands into the hands of his teammates, who are his teammates. There, we really went into the deepest of our bench, and I think that little aspect of tonight is what made has made these last two Suns games actually really fun to watch. Because as a Suns fan, we've talked about it all these past episodes. The Suns, one of their biggest issues that we wanted to see is just energy. For the Suns to come out with energy, whether that be after a flat first that they sometimes ended up with, or even third quarters recently, we just wanted to see some energy from these guys. Bring them to the Valley, get everyone on their feet, and watch some Suns basketball. Now that is exciting and is a interesting factor that I don't think most people realize when coming into these last two games. With all the heavy injuries, the Suns have had to reach deep into their bench, meaning we've gotten to see guys that usually fill in trash minutes most of the nights, or sometimes haven't even gotten a shot, which I don't think is true. Everyone on our roster has gotten some chance during trash minutes, but these guys have not played meaningful minutes. So I think it's been really quite fun to watch these trash minutes. Just kind of taking away this expectation of being contenders and just sitting back and enjoying what these guys can do. Because I think that's the most interesting part about tonight is that we're seeing these guys who know the system. They know that if they have a good night and are able to put on a good performance, then they might be able to improve their chances of maybe earning some more minutes from Coach Bud and the roster. So these minutes mean something to them, not just as their career here in Phoenix, but to prove themselves as basketball players. Whether that be for some of them and their starting career, like Oso and Dunn, who they've already seen kind of huge minutes, although Oso hasn't really. So rookies and some other guys that are just buried deep on the bench. So I find that aspect of tonight's game was really fun tonight, and it also extends to the Utah game, like I was saying. So I really like seeing that energy coming from them tonight, and they did put on quite a show. There's a few things I really enjoyed about tonight. We're going to start with the bench because I don't have much to say about the starters. The starters are the starters. We've seen these guys play multiple minutes, and I've pretty much said my piece on all of them. Devin Booker's really the only guy notable on this whole team when you look at the stats. He put up the most points tonight, game point leader. Other than that, he's like the only one you'd probably know, you instantly know just by his name looking at this roster. So I'm going to start with the bench here. Another great night for Bol Bol. The Bol has gotten more minutes. He had some great minutes during the Utah Jazz game. I forget how much points he had during that night, but once again, he came out and he did not disappoint. I love myself aggressive Bol, and that was one of the things I disliked about him early on is that he just came out a little too passive sometimes during this season. We all saw what he could do last season, so I want to see him to try to build on that coming into this season. But with the limited minutes, it's pretty hard for the guy. So Bol, I just pulled up the stats here, had 12 points last night, and tonight he posted 19 points. I believe is the season high since he has literally played no other games. So this was the Bol experience, the Super Bowl, as we come to name it, the Super Bowl game right before the actual Super Bowl tomorrow. So Bol got 33 minutes. Offensively, he's great. Again, I trashed on him and disliked his defensive abilities, but he had 4 blocks this game. He's had 3 blocks last game, so he's really something, man. Uh, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like his hair has grown out or something. I really like the pigtails, man. Those are some nice pigtails you got there, Bol. Um, so I really just like Bol generally on offense. He's got a really nice handle on the ball and a nice silky touch. He missed a lot of those a lot of his shots in the later half of this game. Um, but it's you like to see some Bol out there. And might I mention his one career is probably the best play of this season. If not best play of the season, probably best Bol play of the season, where Booker passes it to Plumlee, Plumlee to Bol. He drives in, gets to the elbow of the paint, and then does a back behind the back pass right to Damian Lee to swishes. I've never heard our home crowd actually be that loud. It sounded like the playoffs in there. That was actually crazy. I love me some Bobo. The Valley loves them some Bobo. And hopefully we get to see more of them, more of him. I hope these last few games has shined a spot on Bobo. I don't know whose minutes he would necessarily take. I don't know, maybe eating into Ryan Dunn minutes. I hate to say that, but like if Coach Bud really he's been leaning kind of into this more offensive type thing, like lineups recently, where I've just been seeing a lot more offensive players out there. These 3 guard lineups that he keeps putting out there. So I mean, Bol provides length. He has a nice touch, so why not put him in there? It might hurt Ryan Dunn's minutes, um, but I mean that could be a hot topic. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know who else minutes he would consume from unless he plays a bit of center, which could go really wrong, uh, and take some Mason Plumlee minutes off of his hand. But I don't really like the idea of Bobo playing center. I think he works way better as a power forward, um, which I don't think we have that much players to sub in for that, other than KD. He was kind of KD's underling last season, so maybe we could rekindle that little relationship. But that is Bobo tonight. Another great night. We all love ourselves some Bobo. Um, other than tonight, great night from Damian Lee. All right. My opinion on him has kind of soured as ever really since the injury. I never saw much of Damian Lee's play during his prime in the Phoenix Suns era. Um, and then last season, he missed all of last season with an injury, which happened in like training camp. And then now we're finally seeing his first bits of minutes, and it's a little underwhelming. He had a good preseason game, which I was hyped about, but then every time he's just put into trash minutes, I'm not really that impressed. But tonight, it was nice to see some shots finally fall down for the guy as he had 11 points, 2 of 4 from 3, and participated in Bol's Magic Johnson esque pass. That play was awesome. And it's really the highlight tonight. The guys had some fun out there. Other than Damian Lee, Ty Washington, big shout out, I like to say. Having a G League team is awesome for the Phoenix Suns. Ty Washington, from all the Valley Suns kind of social media posts that I've been seeing, he's been balling down there. So nice to see him come up into the big league and have a pretty nice night. It's just the little things that I noticed about him and his little skills, like the ability of his patience, where he was able to get down into the paint. I believe it was against Jamal Murray. He was being guarded by, and just the patience that he slowed down, body control, all that jazz. And then I believe someone else came up and he passed it to them and they took the shot. So really great stuff. And he had a lot of this nice dribble move that I liked, where he got to the paint again, did this little dribble behind the back, and then still made the basket. Like, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I really liked what I got to see from Ty Washington. We haven't seen much of Ty Washington. I believe the last time we got to see the guy have like a big sort of game was very early on in the season when the Suns were facing the Sacramento Kings. I believe in that game, the 3 ball was falling a lot more for him, but definitely not this game. It was just 0 of 3 from 3. So other than that, not much else. Monte Morris saw some minutes, didn't really do much. Really not proving his minutes on why he should be in for Tyus. I don't know. Tough night for Monte, I guess. Mason was there. He was definitely present in tonight's game. Colin Gillespie. I love me some Colin Gillespie. I like what he did. He's been really impressing me. Uh, just very early on in the season, I remember him coming in early for the Mavs game for our first home game, Phoenix Suns home game of the season, which I attended. And Colin Gillespie came in for that game a little shortly, and he did really great that game. So I really like I like our guys. Other than Jalen Bridges, I haven't seen much of him uh, make an appearance. But he looks to be doing well in the G League as well. He is currently out with an injury, I believe, illness. So that's about everyone on our bench. Going back to our starters, Booker, who is obviously the knight, Tyus Jones, who I will mention here, double double, 15 points, 10 assists. Okay, sure, man. Uh, uh, Although I will say I do like that Tyus Jones did come out a little more aggressive this game, as the Suns are again really shorthanded, so he knew the mission and had to come out aggressive like that. Uh, Unfortunately, most of his shots didn't uh, fall for him. You know, his famous teardrop move, his layup move, that was irritatingly not falling for him, which is tough. We could have really used the extra points. Nick Richards, real quick, suffered an injury middle of this game. Don't know what that was about. I haven't received extra news on that, so hopefully that is not something serious. Although he did come back into the game, I believe. I stopped kind of really paying attention during the second half, so I don't remember if he came back into the game. So, but I do know he came back out into the bench. He went to the locker room and then came back to the bench. So I think he's fine. Hopefully, he doesn't have to pop up on our injury list later this month. I'd really hate for him to do that. This is his 12th game as a Phoenix Suns. I just checked because I was curious about his rebounding, which out of Nick Richards' 12 games as a Phoenix Suns, 8 of those games he has led the Phoenix Suns in rebounding. So I find that a cool stat. I mean, he knows what he's brought here to do, to rebound. So that's really great for him. Really hope he's not injured. Um, I really hate that. Ryan Dunn, back in the starting lineup, came out with some firepower. Other than that, not much. I've seen a lot of people say that he's hit a rookie wall recently. His shots just not falling. He's playing a little more awkward now, and his defense isn't really locked down anymore. So um, I don't really know what to attribute that to, but it could definitely be like the same reason that like Bud has been stunning his minutes lately. So that could possibly be it. I'm not saying that's the main reason, but I mean that could possibly be a reason. And Royce O'Neal, last person, team leader in plus and minus, as he had a minus 20 tonight. 9 points. Okay, pretty good. He was also present in tonight's game. So yeah, this game was pretty much over by the start, as I've already said. Uh, yeah, when you don't have half your team, uh, you just don't have. This team doesn't have an answer for Jokic, and when Jokic gets going, he can be very deadly, either with himself or passing the ball to his team, who was there to support him. Booker had nobody. Okay, so it was always going to be a tough game from the start, but I came into this game fully expecting a blowout, and technically it was a blowout. Suns, just doing the quick math here, lost by, that is not the quick math. What the, I don't know what I'm doing. Lost by 17. Um Phoenix Suns lost by 17. I was kind of expecting a bigger blowout, but I'm kind of glad that the Suns were able to hold their own for a bit there. The first quarter we were only down 5, and by halftime we were only down by 8. Single digit leads like that. So I'm pretty proud in this team not giving up and was able to throw a couple punches, and we even took the lead for a bit there. And then classic Suns third quarter came in, and that's when it all blew up. So that's tonight's game, a nice and simple one. I'm not leaving this game too mad. I'm just trying to enjoy the rest of the season, man. It's all downhill from here. Um, as I'm really curious to see what the Suns will do going forward with the toughest remaining schedule. Just hopefully we can heal up. We have a little bit of a break in the schedule here. Um, which I will mention in just a second. With tonight's loss, the Suns are now 26-26 on the season, back to perfect 500, and are the 9th seed in the West, with Golden State climbing back into the 10th seed right behind us. Jimmy Butler drops 25 in his debut. Yay. That's so cool. I'm happy. I'm happy. Next Suns game time will be another back-to-back. This is actually really weird scheduling. The fact that we just had a back-to-back. We played Utah yesterday, played Denver today, and then we're having another back-to-back. Next Suns game time, February 11th, which will be Tuesday, will be our last game at home of this 3-game homestand, and that will be against the Memphis Grizzlies. And then after February 11th, directly after that, Wednesday, February 12th, is at Houston. That is brutal. That is very brutal. Playing like the top 5 seeds in the West back to back is pretty crazy. And well, us Suns fans can only pray that we have our full team back by then. I kind of wish these last 2 games we had our new guys come in, Cody Martin and Vasile Micic. I swear to Christ, I have tried searching how to say that man's name. Vasile is the closest I've found, and that is like off of phonetics. But I don't know. I've heard announcers pronounce it way different, and I mean, announcers just go by his last name of Micic, and that's what I've kind of been trying to do. But I like try to say everyone's name and try to memorize them. So Vasile, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I really wish they were both able to play in tonight's game. I guess the jersey makers are just really slow on making their jerseys, as they are 17 and 18 for the Phoenix Suns. I don't know which is which, who's wearing 17 and who's 18, but I know those are their numbers. They were at tonight's game, actually. For a second, they panned over to the court side, and we were able to see the 2 new guys here in Phoenix. So, I mean, they are here, which is cool. And hopefully, we're able to see them do some pretty cool stuff. It's the last thing we have to hope. I'm just hoping here, as the Suns have this last stretch of 2 games before we go into All-Star break. And then after that begins the true final mile. And we'll see where this season, Phoenix Suns season, comes to a close. So that's all I have to say for tonight. Enjoy your nights. Be glad you got to see some bowl action before the imposter Super Bowl, as we got to see the real Super Bowl here tonight. I want to say, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And I thank you for your continued support. We'll be back here February 11th, Tuesday, I believe is the day. Yeah. February 11th for next Suns game time against the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'll see you then. All right. Good night, everybody.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move from Bradley Beal.
like that brother needed help.